Boxing scene. Oh, Esau Pitbull Cruz satisfied to move on from Lamont Roach Jr. We're content moving on from Lamont Roach. First of all, I just mentioned it. You said you would give him a rematch post-fight. You said you're not Gervonta Davis to sound cool, and you're like, we'll give you the rematch. Now you're saying, we content moving on without you because we want a big year with big fights. And you're calling out Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. So I ask you, what is the difference when Tank had a draw with Pitbull, or excuse me, when Tank had a draw with Lamont Roach and moved on to a bigger fight for bigger money, right, with Jake Paul, and then boxing fans said, oh, he's ducking Lamont Roach, he don't want no smoke. See what they do to a black fighter. When it's a black fighter like Tank from Baltimore, they talking all this stuff about he ducking, and they can't understand why he would go the bigger fight route, the money route with Jake Paul, right? Not to mention it'd be a crazy weight jump to even fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul be like 190 or whatever he was trying to weigh. Pitbull is targeting Tank. Tank said on social media, he was like, I'll rematch Pitbull when my knee gets better. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. On this episode of The Tank Haters Look Dumb as a coming right up, Esau Pitbull Cruz says something that I find hilarious, and we gonna talk about it right now in this video. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. On this episode of the Tank Davis, Gervonta Tank Davis haters look stupid as hell. I come to you with some new news. News you can use, as I like to say. Let's get it. Boxing scene. Oh, yeah. Esau Pitbull Cruz satisfied to move on from Lamont Roach Jr. Los Angeles. Esau Pitbull Cruz, empowered by the fact that his drawing power generated a capacity crowd in San Antonio, tells boxing scene he is content in not taking an immediate rematch, right, with Lamont Roach Jr. Following their draw and the people scored it, blah, blah, blah. Cruz named upcoming welterweight Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, and the WBC. Quote, I'm so happy and proud of myself for the fight that I gave with Roach. It's not possible to have another fight with him because I've already demonstrated I did a really good fight. The type of fight that I really want is from fighters who come to fight for the people. Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, Subriel Matias. Right? Brother man's lying around with a cast on his arm, so I don't think he'll be next, Sean Gibbons of Pacquiao Promotion said. We won the fight. I don't care what the judges said. The fight the fans want to see is what we're after. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis are those fights. That's who we're going to be targeting in 2026. I want to show the people I want to give them a good fight, Pitbull Cruz said. That means the most to me. Esau Cruz is the new face of Mexican boxing. There is no one else from Mexico putting on these kinds of exciting fights. He is. Not Canelo, not no one, Sean Gibbons said. So he has the right to choose Ryan Garcia at 147, Gervonta Davis all he's looking forward to and wants to accomplish is fight fans want to see. He has earned the right. He's the draw. He's putting butts in the seats. Lamont Roach thought he was going to go mano a mano, and he learned real quick and went on his bicycle and came up with the lame excuse that his hand hurts. Pitbull has a tendency to cause injuries when he fights guys. You're looking at a guy who's most exciting fighter in 2026, right? So Team Pitbull Cruz are letting you know that they want to fight somebody who's really going to try to put on a show, and they don't feel that Lamont Roach all the way did that. Now, I was enjoying the fight. I didn't have a problem with the fight, but back to what I said at the beginning, the Gervonta Davis haters look super stupid right now. I love it. I really love it. I live for this. I am boxing. You guys look dumb again. Like, I've never seen people continue to look dumb time after time and just keep looking dumb and dumber. It is so funny to me. Now, what am I talking about? They say, oh, Ego, stop speaking in riddles. First of all, I do what I want on my channel. If you don't like it, scram. I'm talking to you. I want to talk to you, right? The reality is this. Tank Davis haters, it's almost like a disease, right? They got this disease going on, and it's like the sixth sense. Whether they know it, don't know it, they have it, right? And they can't stop talking about Tank. Everything, they try to attribute everything bad in boxing to Tank. It's insanity what we're really truly seeing, right? Tank needs to do this, Tank, blah, blah, blah. But now they look really stupid. Here's why. With Gervonta Davis, right? He fought Lamont Roach, and the fight resulted in a draw. What happened? The fight resulted in a draw. It had some fake overblown controversy because Tank took a weird knee, which we've already went over, right? Nonetheless, the fight ended in a draw. Boom. Tank Davis, BoxRec, 30-0-1. His only draw is Lamont Roach, right? Lamont Roach does a lot of begging and mentioning Tank's name, and it looked like they were going to do a rematch. Then Tank gets an offer to fight Jake Paul for upwards of $40-50 million. Now, me being the intelligent boxing commentator that I am, I told you from jump, it's a weird fight because of the weight differential between Jake Paul and also Tank Davis. But I understand it from a business perspective. It's a money fight. They're looking to have a spectacle, right? And I also stated you can't be mad at Tank Davis for not turning down that type of money. Fight somebody from Nickelodeon or wherever he came, Disney, and fight someone who hasn't been boxing their whole life, make $40-50 million. Who's not going to do that? In typical fashion, the Gervonta Davis haters, the Tank haters, and content creators put out the low quality content, and they were like, oh man, see, he's ducking the real smoke with Lamont Roach. Why isn't he fighting Lamont Roach? And I explained it from day one. Roach was an option, but if you got that type of money on the table, why would you not take it? Like, it's just common sense. Why would you not take that fight if you're being offered this type of money to fight Jake Paul, right? Lamont, and I also said in my videos, Lamont Roach, for real, he's like non-consequential. He can wait. You put him on the back burner, right? If you remember me saying all of these things, type I remember in the comment section so the fans see that there ain't no fluff in my game. I said all this stuff, right? And now I'll speed it up for you. Tank got a lot of flack for not doing the immediate rematch, even though it made perfect sense, right? $40-50 million money fight with Jake Paul. Lamont Roach got to wait. We don't care if he mad and threatening arbitration, right? People are like, no, it's inexcusable. This makes no sense. Why? Right? Kept crying because it's Tank. Then the fight gets canceled, so it ultimately doesn't matter. But that don't matter with what I'm saying. Him not rematching Roach to fight Jake Paul made sense because you're going to make that type of money. There's no one else going to pay you that type of money right now, right? Fans didn't understand it. Fast forward to the future, Jake Paul pulls the plug on the fight because Tank got this little chick with this accusation and legal stuff. And he like, I don't want it. Tank's a bad person, blah, blah, blah. Then he pulls in a heavyweight Anthony Joshua. They're fighting in 9-10 days or whatever. And it, to be honest, it's kind of a less buzz than when he was fighting Tank. But nonetheless, the point I'm making is Anthony Joshua, right? He's a heavyweight coming off a loss. Why he taking the fight? He's an Olympic gold, because people were like, oh, Tank's resume is horrible. I've already did an Unpacked about that. Check that on the channel. They're like, his resume is horrible. Tank doesn't fight people. They're saying all this goofy stuff. Okay, they're not saying that about Joshua's resume. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's coming off a loss. Why aren't you fighting Tyson Fury, Fabio Wardley? Why aren't you trying to rematch Usyk in a trilogy fight? Why aren't you fighting Moses Atuma, right? Why are you not taking these type of fights yourself? Why are you not avenging Daniel Dubois' loss? You're fighting the same person. But when Joshua did it, all of a sudden, all is forgiven. But when Tank was trying to fight him, they didn't understand the money thing. But for Joshua, they understand it's a money thing. You see what I'm talking about? Now, fast forward to the future with Pitbull Cruz and his team now saying this. It says Pitbull Cruz is satisfied to move on from Lamont Roach. A few problems here. One, right after the fight, Pitbull Cruz was singing a different tune. He was like, yo, I'm not Gervonta Tank Davis. I'll give you a rematch. So when Lamont Roach was right there, he told him that I'm not Tank. Again, everybody always talking about Tank. He said, I'm not Gervonta Tank Davis. We can run the fade again. We can squabble again. If the first fight ended in a draw, which it did, then we can run it back for the fans. Days later, now he has this interview with Boxing Scene, and him and his team are like, we want to fight people who ain't trying to run. We're content moving on from Lamont Roach. First of all, I just mentioned it. You said you would give him a rematch post-fight. You say you're not Gervonta Davis to sound cool, and you're like, we'll give you the rematch. Now you're saying we content moving on without you because we want a big year with big fights. And you're calling out Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. So I ask you, what is the difference when Tank had a draw with when Tank had a draw with Lamont Roach and moved on to a bigger fight for bigger money, right, with Jake Paul, and then boxing fans said, oh, he's ducking Lamont Roach. He don't want no smoke. See what they do to a black fighter. When it's a black fighter like Tank from Baltimore, they talking all this stuff about he ducking, and they can't understand why he would go the bigger fight route, the money route with Jake Paul, right? Not to mention it'd be a crazy weight jump to even fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul be like 190 or whatever he was trying to weigh. But they're like, nah, it don't make sense. Nothing you can tell me makes it make sense. But now Pitbull Cruz, who just drew with the same guy, Lamont Roach, just promised him post-fight that he would run it back. Now he's saying, I don't need to run it back with Lamont Roach because he gonna move around too much and it wasn't as entertaining. I want to fight fan-friendly fights. And he's calling out Tank and Ryan Garcia. So when it's a Mexican fighter like Esau Pitbull Cruz, and I know I'm cooking y'all, when it's a Mexican fighter and he's like, I put butts in seats, I'm going with the bigger fights. We don't really care about Lamont Roach. He don't mean enough to us. Now it's not a problem. When it's a black fighter from Baltimore, we got a list too, right? They couldn't understand why the black fighter would move on from a Lamont Roach fight and pursue anybody else without cleaning up the previous fight that ended in a draw with Lamont Roach. Man, you would hate to be a Roach right now. You would hate to be a Roach right now because you keep having these almost performances, not doing enough to impress the judges, which is totally your fault. I've already talked about that and explained it why. And then now Pitbull is targeting Tank. Tank said on social media, he was like, I'll rematch Pitbull when my knee gets better. So now you might get cut out the equation again. And Lamont Roach, you got a broken hand or whatever is going on. They not finna wait for you. He just told you. He just told you. They're not trying to wait for you. So I love this. Every opportunity I get to make y'all look dumb, I'm making a video. And here's one of those moments. Because when a black fighter, Tank, fought Jake Paul or signed up to fight him, y'all couldn't understand the money. Y'all couldn't understand why he would not avenge. You're like, oh, it's about legacy. Who cares about money? You should want, even Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson was talking like, man, I wouldn't took the money fight with Jake Paul. I would have did my rematch and then da-da-da. It don't work like that. If somebody on your jack and they like, yo, we got 40, 50 mil on Netflix, let's run it in October, wompty, then you either yay or nay. Tank signed up for it. He wanted that bag, even though it didn't happen. He was down. So how is it acceptable for a Mexican fighter, Esau Pitbull Cruz, to have a draw just like Tank? And for real, I think Tank beat Lamont Roach. Some people are saying Lamont Roach should have beat Esau Pitbull Cruz and pulled it out, right? But now he has a draw nonetheless, right? He has a draw with the man. And he's telling you, I put butts in seats. People coming to see me. We're going to keep building. And pretty much, we're not waiting for you. We don't care about you. We don't care what we said post-fight. We didn't talk about it, blah, blah, blah. So you just got to live with that. Funny how that works. Very funny how that works. So I can't wait to see these piddly excuses and justifications for why these race fans and old media attack Tank for bailing out of a Lamont Roach rematch and not proving himself and securing his legacy by correcting the draw. But then they're going to have no problem with Esau Pitbull Cruz fighting Ryan Garcia or whoever. He talking about fighting Ryan at 147. He ain't even fought up there. So I find it very funny and laughable at the double standards and the hypocrisy. And this is why you can't listen to a lot of low quality content creators, because this is the type of stuff they be on. Again, they're going to be like, oh, Tank, he's the bad guy. And they do all this stuff. Now they are caught up because Lamont Roach has back-to-back draws. He has 3 draws totally. And both people are happy to move on without him because he's not really an A-side level person. So you can run it back and, you know, it'd be cool to run it back to settle the draw. But if there's bigger fights being offered or the networks want bigger fights, they not worried about Lamont Roach. You can be mad. You just gonna have to be mad. And another thing is, notice when you have the complexion for the protection like Lomachenko, how come he never had a running back with Orlando Salido when he lost? Not a draw, a loss. How come he never ran it back with Teofimo? How come Tyson Fury never ran it back with Otto Wallin? He didn't do an immediate rematch with Wilder. He went off and signed the Top Rank and all this stuff. So I find it very funny that you have a black fighter like Tank and who have a draw, and then people make this big deal about it, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, he's ducking Lamont Roach and stuff. Now Pitbull Cruz and his team openly just told you that they not worried about Lamont Roach right now, and now it's quiet as church mice. You don't see nobody calling Pitbull Cruz a sucker, a ducker, a sucker ducker, or nothing. It's all peachy. It's all peachy keen. It's all dandy because Pitbull did it. But Tank was finna, first of all, Tank's a bigger star than Pitbull. 2, Tank was about to make more money with a Lamont or Jake Paul than whatever Pitbull would probably get for his next fight. But again, they don't understand Tank pursuing the Jake Paul angle for 40, 50 million reported, but Pitbull Cruz to make whatever he's going to make to pursue his next fight. They understand it and it make perfect sense. Y'all are laughable and I just cooked y'all. Subscribe for more boxing like this. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately